I'm Brett Ernest, and I'll be leading this morning's devotional. Today, we'll take a look at Luke, chapter 11, verses 37 through 44. Let's open our Bibles and begin. And as he spoke, a certain Pharisee asked him to dine with him. So he went in and sat down to eat. When the Pharisee saw it, he marveled that he had not first washed before dinner. Then the Lord said to him, Now you Pharisees make the outside of the cup and dish clean, but your inward part is full of greed and wickedness. Foolish ones, did not he who made the outside make the inside also? But rather give alms of such things as you have. Then indeed all things are clean to you. But woe to you Pharisees, for you tithe mint and rue and all manner of herbs, and pass by the justice and the love of God. These you ought to have done without leaving the others undone. Woe to you Pharisees, for you loved the best seats in the synagogues and greetings in the marketplaces. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you are like graves which are not seen, and the men who walk over them are not aware of them. Here Jesus is confronting religious hypocrisy, particularly among the scribes and Pharisees. He gives us all a warning against focusing on outward appearances while neglecting a true transformation of our lives. Jesus accepts a dinner invitation from a Pharisee, and we must believe that Christ deliberately failed to wash his hands. It was no accident. He set this up to open the opportunity for correction. There was an ancient Jewish ritual washing that took place before a meal, but it was not commanded in the Mosaic Law. It was simply a tradition. How do I know this? Well, because in Mark chapter 7, verses 3 and 4, it's explained. For the Pharisees and all the Jews do not eat unless they wash their hands in a certain way, holding to the tradition of their elders. When they come from the marketplace, they do not eat unless they wash, and there are many other things which they received and hold, like the washing of cups and pitchers, copper vessels and couches. You see, the Pharisees were obsessed with outward traditions and rituals, but ignored the far more critical issue of inner morality and cleanliness. You don't clean the inside by washing the outside. That's the point Jesus is making about washing the cups and dishes. To ensure everything is clean, start with the inside and freely give from a heart transformed by God. A good translation of verse 41 is, Give that which is within you as your offering. In his first woe against the Pharisees, Jesus calls out how they pay so much attention to the smallest things like tithing insignificant herbs, and yet overlook the big things like love and justice. He doesn't say they shouldn't do the small things, but not at the expense of the more significant things. His second woe addresses loving the spotlight and perks more than loving God. Those days are not so different than today. Many pastors in our time preach in ways intended to gain popularity and power rather than to convey scripture and truth. Their pride gorges on accolades while the Lord's sheep starve for the gospel. Woe to those in our time who do not feed his sheep. Jesus' third woe addresses hidden sources of defilement. For the Jews, any person who walks over an unmarked grave becomes defiled. In this way, a person could become defiled without even knowing it. He compares the Pharisees to unmarked graves, teaching traditions that seem authentic and are accepted, but in reality are corrupting and misleading. The shepherds are misleading the flock, and the sheep are unaware of it. These verses are not just a rebuke of religious leaders. Jesus is calling for authentic faith that God is focused on rather than traditions, love and justice rather than ritual minutiae, and a holiness that flows from within and gives freely. It is a reminder for all of us to examine our motives, because it isn't only about what we do, but why we are doing it. Thank you for spending this time in the Word today. Have a blessed day.